Good evening. Welcome to On Another Level Book Club's Author Babble, where we're getting up close and personal with author J.J. Winston, author of The Anniversary, The Commemoration, and The Anniversary Workbook. Welcome, Miss Winston. How are you doing?
I am great. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you for being with us. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I wrote my first book, The Anniversary, in 2017. I worked for 19 years at the Cuyahoga County Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board here in Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland. And I wanted to use my platform as an opportunity to help eradicate stigma about mental health, particularly in the African American community. It's a very serious topic, and I love fiction. So I decided to use my fiction novel as a way to do that. And just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I am a licensed independent social worker as well as an attorney. Okay. So when I worked at the Adams Board, I represented people who had mental health and drug and alcohol issues with their drug and alcohol agencies and mental health agencies and their housing. So I was like an advocate.
Right.
So I really wanted to take all of my skills and use that to write something that is entertaining, it keeps you engaged, but also teaches you at the same time.
I love it. I love it. I work in the field of special education, so I work with the whole shebang.
Yes.
And that is one thing that's dear to my heart, very dear to my heart. So you said your professional, your careers have prepared you for the world of mental health, which this is where your love for writing and the fiction that you have written have grown from. Are there any personal experience that have helped you dive into the life of mental illnesses?
Well, I think everybody got a few people in their family that's dealing with something. Yeah. And I think that that's what I really wanted to do with my fiction is to make people realize that, we all are dealing with something. We all got a cross that we got to pick up and carry.
Yes.
Somebody else might be mental health. Somebody else got something else they're dealing with. Right. But we all dealing with something. You're not going to get out of here unscathed. So exactly. It's how you deal with it is everything. Exactly. And in our community, we've been taught to really been silent on this particular issue because our information has been used in the past to harm us. Mm-hmm. So what I want people to understand is that there are safe places that you can go and talk to people and get the help that you need. And what we should be doing is talking to each other as well.
Right. And embracing each other because everything that have gone on in society, we've had several murders by law enforcement because they don't understand or there's no communication in what's actually going on. There's no processes in place. So I think this is great. Fiction is a great way to begin the conversation on the issue.
And that's exactly what I wanted to do. And you know what? And I'm glad you brought up about the murders, like you said, that we've been experiencing as a community. And I think that we as African Americans, people who belong to the brown and Black community, we have been traumatized by watching people who look like us die every day on the news. In particular, when George Floyd was killed, they played that over and over and over. It's traumatizing. Mm-hmm. And I think that, and it makes you afraid to call the police. But what we need to understand is the police, all of us are one. If I have a problem, I'm not going to call Ghostbusters or somebody breaking in my house. I'm calling 911. And the police better come because I pay their bills.
Right. But you know what? This is the perfect opportunity to just open up the dialogue between the community and law enforcement and come up with a process. I know even within the district that I work in, the city that I work in, we've been working with the city for years trying to get a program where if you have an individual in your family with mental illness, they need to create a database. So when they pull someone over, you put their name in the system, that information would automatically come up. Important information you need to know about that. So I think it's great that we're touching on this topic, let's talk about your first book, The Anniversary.
Yes.
Give us a little sneak peek of what we can expect from The Anniversary. And tell us about the award.
Okay.
You won. And congratulations if I haven't said it already.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, The Anniversary is about my fictional characters, Granville and Juliet Stubbs.
Okay.
And they're attorneys. And they're doing really well for themselves. When Granville learns some very disturbing news that basically precipitates him having a breakdown. And it's a tragedy that occurs from that.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that his family has to do to deal with the tragedy due to this secret. And I think that I wanted to write this story because I think a lot of us have family secrets. A lot of us do. And we're told, you know, you keep your mouth shut. You don't be going out telling everybody our business, you know, because and there's, like I said, there's been some good reason for that. But what we need to do is again, like you said, is we need to create a dialogue. We need to have conversations, and we need to have safe places, and we need to stop judging each other too. We're really judgmental.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's the problem too.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, you know what, if I was to, you know, look in anybody's window, you know, really look in it, we all might see some cracks.
Right. With
the light on. So, you know, what we need to do is stop being so judgmental too.
Right. And that's one thing that I see now. And one thing I am proud of about the millennials and the younger generations, they're talking about things that we as a community typically swept under the rug. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. A lot of mental, I don't want to say illnesses, but a lot of things we deal with mentally derive from things not being spoke about or talked about within our own families that was swept under the rug.
And that's what my book is really about.
Oh, okay.
It really is. You hit it right on the nail. And you know what? That is a big issue. I agree. And, you know, for whatever reason, you see the younger people are more accepting.
Right.
You know, and again, we all need to be accepting of each other and not pass judgment. Because, you know, what might break you down might not break somebody else down. But people always say, oh, that would never happen to me. I work with all kinds of people. I did this for years. I've seen all kinds of professionals break down because they're dealing with stress and trauma. You know, I've seen people work with a family once. They lost 5 really close, important family members in 5 months.
Oh, wow.
Somebody can have a breakdown from that. You don't know what you can actually bear until you have to bear it. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't wish that on anybody though. You know, we need to be again supportive.
So as an advocate and as an attorney, what advice could you give to those that are watching us that may want to have those conversations, but they're not comfortable having those conversations? How can you begin having these conversations within your homes?
I think that what you need to be is honest. If you have a relative that's dealing with a mental illness or a mental health disorder, be honest about it. You know, if you have one person in the family that's dealing with it, likely a lot of people are dealing with it because these things don't happen in a vacuum. There's usually a genetic predisposition as well. So if you have one person that has bipolar, it's some other people in the family that has bipolar. And what we need to do is we need to talk about it in a way, like put it in a context. You know, when rich people have an issue like bipolar and they act what we would consider strange, we say they're eccentric. Mm-hmm. When poor people have these same issues, we say they're crazy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sometimes what you think is crazy is actually somebody having extremely creative thinking. You know, at one time they thought the world was flat. The person that said the world was round, they said he was crazy. Mm-hmm. He was right. So, you know, we need to really be careful again about passing that kind of judgment on each other. And the biggest advice I can say to people is know what your rights are. You said something a little earlier I wanted to make sure I didn't leave this interview without touching on. And you talked about the police and the database. In Ohio, we have something called crisis intervention trained police officers. And if you have somebody that's having a mental health emergency You can ask for a CIT officer. A lot of places around the country have that. You should investigate that in your community. You should make a big deal and make sure folks actually, your community embraces that, modality, and that we actually try to make sure we put those type of policemen there. And maybe not even necessarily police, but maybe we can have a team of people who can help you, social workers and everything like that. So now I'm a magistrate in domestic relations court for the Honorable Tanya R. Jones. Okay. She is the first African-American judge in the history of the Cuyahoga County Domestic Relations Court. And I am her post-decree magistrate. And even now in my job, I still see mental illness all the time. People going through divorce or dealing with divorce trauma, I see mental illness all the time.
Right.
I actually see it everywhere I go. I feel like, instead of seeing dead people.
I'm with you. I can be in a room and I can say, there's something, you can spot certain things.
That's right.
Yeah.
When you do this a lot, you can't see it. And again, what we need to understand is that, by the grace of God, go I. It could be you.
Right.
1 in 4 people are dealing with the mental illness or drug and alcohol issue. 25% of the total population. That's 1 in 4. That's a lot of people.
It is. So I'm going to ask you a question. It's sort of so I know people dealing with this specific information, and since I have you and you have all the knowledge, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit.
Pick it. Go ahead. I'm here, girl.
One thing that I've noticed over the years, of course, I work in transition in the district as well. So I'm constantly working with families and adult students and preparing them for life after high school. One thing I've noticed in a wall that we've run into so many times is that parents may know of issues prior to them turning of age, but once they become adults, those rights, they lose those rights. So that adult individual may be in a crisis, may need help, and they may come to the rescue. But of course, because they are adults now, they can check themselves out, or they can just refuse services, period. What advice would you give to parents of adult children who have mental illnesses or just have some type of condition where they need assistance, but it's a battle with them recognizing it or just accepting help?
I'm glad you asked that. That's an excellent question. First off, you really should get my workbook and resource guide.
Okay.
It has all kind of information about working as a family member with someone who has a mental illness or a drug and alcohol issue.
Awesome. Okay.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to use an analogy if that's okay. Me and you are having a conversation right now, yes?
Yes.
Somebody told you that you weren't really talking to me. What would you say?
Yep, she's in front of me. I see her.
That's how people who are dealing with the delusional disorder, something like where they see or hear things, that's how they feel.
Gotcha.
Because they are actually hearing and seeing these things. Just because you don't hear them and see them doesn't mean they don't.
Right.
So part of what we have to do is to get people to buy into what's happening. And that's very difficult. All right, so then let's just determine that, I don't see Judy or don't see JJ. Okay. All right. Well, maybe God's talking to me. You want me to take medicine and stop God from talking to me. I'm special. So God talks to me. He don't talk to you.
Gotcha.
So you know what? Part of it is getting people to understand that this is something that's an illness and that it's not easy. And for young people, that's really hard. I think that what we need to do, if you are a parent and you're recognizing problems with your kids, you're not doing them a favor by hiding it. You're hurting them.
Yes.
There's all kind of process. I mean, like we have programs, we have resources available, and that your kid is not getting that because we haven't identified them as having a problem. And what happens is parents die. And then you got a kid that really can't live on their own. So you're going to burden their brothers and sisters.
Right.
If they decide to do it. Some people will put you somewhere and be like, it's not my issue.
Right.
So I think that what we really need to do is, again, acknowledge. And that's hard. When you're a parent, you want your babies to be perfect.
Right.
I'm a parent, but we are all flawed. That's what I think we need to understand. There's no such thing as perfection. Not unless my name started with J, but it don't end with S. I ain't Jesus. I'm Judy. JJ also. They call me JJ. So I hope I answered that question. I think that what is important is to put procedures in place for people. There in Ohio, we have something called a durable power of mental health, or it's a durable power of attorney for mental health.
Right.
And what it does is it allows you, when you have capacity, when you're well, to determine what you want when you become sick. You can have somebody act in your stead. They can make decisions for you. I really encourage people to get those particular documents in place. I testified for the bill here in Ohio. We put it in place. Very few people use it. And when I worked at the Adams Board, when they get put in the hospital, they calling me. I can't help you when you involuntarily committed.
Right.
I put this in place, or tried to help put this in place, so if you do get involuntarily committed, your rights can be respected and you can tell us what you want. But people just don't do it the way they should.
Right. That's great. That's something we push, the durable power of attorney, and then also the supportive decision making. But it's just open up that dialogue and having that conversation. And you have to accept. That's the first thing, is to acknowledge it. But until then,
it's hard. You know what I also suggest that really works is for people to videotape their loved ones if they're psychotic. I remember working with the young man, and the family called me and they said, he's telling us he's Jesus. And I said, okay, when he does that, I want you to videotape him doing that. And we had a meeting, and this guy was so convinced. He said, I don't know what they're talking about.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea.
There's nothing wrong with me. And the people pulled out the video. Right. And he clearly said, I am Jesus. I said, let's just talk about it. Is this you? He said, yes. I said, you clearly said you're Jesus. What can he say? He strapped his head. And then that gives us the opportunity to have the dialogue.
Exactly.
Do you really think you're Jesus? And if you do, let's figure out what we can do. To try to help you understand that you can get yourself killed. Because people, they're not trying to hurt somebody, they're just sick. But you got to look at where the police are coming from too. If somebody is actively psychotic, and they can be dangerous. Sometimes people are dangerous, and that's just unfortunate, but that's the truth.
Right. That's true. I love that idea of recording. That's a great idea. Okay, so tell us real quick, the anniversary, you received an award.
I did. I received the Independent Author Network's, it was a finalist for the 2020 Book of the Year Award in the Outstanding Women's Literature category.
Congratulations.
And I was very, very happy. It made my day.
So this was your first book. You had not written anything prior to this book. Tell us about that process. How long did it take you to write the book?
It took me 4 years.
Okay.
And
4 years.
4 years. And what it was is I wrote it on a Samsung tablet, which is a little known fact. It's because I work with computers. I work in front of computers all day. And I was able to use, I like to sit outside of the computer. That's why I got to wear these glasses now, girl. I'm blinded in the back. Okay. I'm going to need a CNI dog and a cane before it's all over with.
Don't speak that in. Don't do that.
I'm just telling you, girl, my eyes is going bad. So, I really like to sit outside. I live right on a creek, and I would write. And I put together this story. It actually was a short story that I let a writer read that told me she loved it and I should turn it into a novel. So I did. I had to find the right editor. I did. Erica Parker of Lyrical Innovation. She is awesome. She's a writing coach. And she really, really helped me get everything together. And we got it out there. And I had so many people who loved the book that they asked for the workbook. They said they loved the book so much that they really wanted me to go into more depth about mental illness, about mental health, about the different drugs, about treatment planning, what that means, understanding how to involuntarily commit someone if you had to, those kind of things. So I said, okay, so I did it. And in the workbook, it also has reading questions. Okay. And then people really wanted me to continue the story. I purposely kind of left it on a, you know how you do it, on a cliffhanger. So my second book, The Commemoration, still has the mental health theme, but I wanted to spice it up some. I added a human trafficking theme. Okay. And a sickle cell disease theme, because I work with a number of human trafficking victims as in my job at the Adams Board. That's what made me come up with that. Okay. And then for the sickle cell, I have a personal connection. My father died of sickle cell disease when I was 8. My grandmother died when he was 15. I have 2 uncles and an aunt that died of it. Oh, wow. And then my daughter was born with sickle cell disease. And then I also have a niece, a great nephew, and a great niece, all with sickle cell disease. And it is really important that we continue to raise awareness about this particular topic. Yes. And I decided if I'm gonna be doing all this, I might as well be doing that too. We can do it all.
Education. I have a great nephew who has the disease as well, and it is really trying at that young age to go through so much,
It is.
Yes.
And my daughter is a junior. She's a junior at Ohio State. Okay. She's in school to be, she wants to get her degree in biochemistry. She wants to be a hematologist. Okay. So she has a disease that is not as recognizable as my father's disease. My father has sickle cell anemia. My daughter has a disease called hemoglobin SC. But it's still in that family. Right. And I really want people to know that a lot of people have a trait for this and don't even know it.
And you need to know it.
That's right. My husband was unaware.
Right. Exactly. So, as an author, yes, first book, the anniversary, and now I think you said May, the commemoration came out. Yes. Was it May or May?
Yes, May.
How have you saw growth or even development in yourself? Do you see a difference in the book from the anniversary to the commemoration?
I'm a better writer.
Okay.
I write a lot. I'm a lawyer. And now I'm a magistrate. I do a lot of writing, but it's a different kind of writing when you write fiction. I always was really good at English. I was good in school. I'm not going to say I wasn't. But if you gave me something to present, I'm a very good speaker, or write, I always excelled. I'm good at math if it's got something to do with my money. Girl, I'm good with my money. But I'm not, really into math like some people are. Like my husband's a math whiz. That's not my thing. But I think I'm a better writer. And it's not easy to do this. And it's not easy, particularly when you write a series. You got to remember everything from the first book. You got to make sure, because people do look at that. You don't want to mess up.
Right.
So I think I've grown. And I'm writing the third book. It's going to be called The Revelation, people.
Okay, The Revelation.
That's the last book. I'm working on the last book in the series. I think it's the last book so far, right now. That's what I'm thinking.
So are you carrying over your main characters in each one of your books, or is it a different character?
I add some new character. In the second book, I added some new characters too. Okay. So
what type of reviews have you received, and how do you deal with the negative and the positive reviews? I
haven't gotten any negative reviews, all very positive. Good. I have about 30 plus on the anniversary. I have 10, a little bit like 10 or a little bit more on the commemoration. Cyrus Webb, I don't know if you know who he is. He gave my book. He has a hugely popular show called Conversations. He is a top Amazon reviewer. He gave my book a 5-star and a very excellent review.
Right now, stop and tell us how you can be reached and where our viewing audience can purchase your book, because you have really piqued my interest.
Yes, you can reach me at my website at novelistjjwinston.com. You can buy my books there. You can also go on there and subscribe for my newsletter. It came out today.
Okay.
I do a monthly newsletter. This month's topic, I'm talking about sexual assault, because April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And I'm also talking about alcohol abuse in respect to mental health, because that's also, April's a whole bunch of different things going on.
Right.
So that's one of the things. And it came out this month. Also, you can reach me by email at info@novelistjjwinston. I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody. I do a lot of presentations. I have a bunch of different presentations on different topics around mental health. And I also have my own program called Know Your Cells, aimed at raising awareness about sickle cell anemia. So I would, and sickle cell disease, not just sickle cell anemia. And I would love to talk to anybody who wants to talk to me. If you purchase some of my books, I'll come speak to your group for free. Let me do it.
So make sure you purchase the books. We have the anniversary. That also has a workbook with it. Then we have the commemoration. And the new book is The Revelation. Is that right?
It hasn't come out yet, but I have a book bundle.
That is so nice.
You can get my book bundle, all 3 books for a substantial savings. 3 books for $50. So, nice. And it's all wrapped up pretty. And it also has a secret, little, one of those little QR codes with a secret playlist and all kind of stuff. I got a lot of good little cute things to go with it. So I really would, hoping people can be supportive of me and my endeavor. This is very costly to be an independent author, but it's something that I feel in my spirit that I need to do. One day, Oprah, I hope she hears me. Call me up, Oprah. I'm here. Look, she up to she really motivated me when I was a young person. I always would laugh because I would watch her show and realize we were always reading the same books.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, she's just awesome, and she always says there should be everybody should have a list of 100 things you want to do in your life, in your bucket list of life, and writing a book was one of them. And so I checked the box on that.
Wow. Okay, that was going to be my next question. Is, as a young person, did you ever see yourself as becoming a published author?
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest. One thing is, to me, I think that if you have to believe in yourself.
That's right.
And the one thing that's good, I always make a joke and say I'm kind of an egomaniac. I'm really not, but a little bit I am. Meaning is, I've read a whole lot of people's books, and I said, if they can do it, I can do it.
Right.
Just like, being a lawyer, if they can do it. When I was in law school, if all these people in law school, they can pass the bar, I can pass the bar. They ain't no better than me. My money is just as green as theirs. So that's what I believe, and that's what I believe in. And I think that if you have something in your spirit, you can do it.
And that's the attitude you need, especially when it comes to marketing and just getting yourself out there. You have to have that faith in yourself, first of all, before you expect anyone else to believe in you. Right.
And I do have faith in myself. And you know what? I have faith in my team. And I feel like my message is something that's important. And I want to make sure that it resonates with people. This isn't something that's just my thing. It's the world's thing. Right. We're watching what's happening, today. All these shootings, all kind of people having issues trying to cope. But part of it is, I'm just going to say, we need to turn off some of our social media. Stop judging yourself against others.
Yes.
That's staged. It's not real. Not everybody's not having a perfect life. And if they're saying they are lying to you. It's all called marketing.
Yes. You know what? And I've said this before. That's one of my biggest fears, especially with our young people and our young adults. If they're watching YouTube and they see these influencers living the life, but you're only seeing a 15-minute snippet of what they want you to see. And then you compare yourself to what they have and what they're doing and what you have. And that puts you in that's one of my
even the way people look. I remember watching something about the video girls on BET. And they said, you know what? These young people are trying to look like us, and ain't nothing on us real. They airbrushed everything. This is not who we are.
Right.
You can never reach a standard that is just fictional.
Right.
So I'm happy with me, girl. I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I'm trying to be. I ain't always happy. I'm human, but for the most part, I'm happy.
Right. So tell us, last question before we move on, the publishing process. What made you decide to be independent? And then what was the most difficult thing about that whole process of getting published?
What made me decide to be independent is I knew Dolores Phillips. She wrote The Darkest Child, one of the best books ever. She passed away. She's from Cleveland. She came to my book club and spoke to my group. And her book did really well, but she didn't get a chance to have that much, influence over it. It was really the publishing company, and she kind of didn't like that. And that was one thing. And so secondly, I'm a very busy person professionally. And I've heard other people say when they've worked with publishers, they have to do all these things the publisher wants them to do. I may not be able to with my many, many different obligations.
Right.
And I wanted to be able to have some control over my creative process and over my product. So I never even pitched my stuff never pitched anything to a company. If it's good, they'll come to me. That's how I feel. I'm like MC Hammer. I'm selling my books out the trunk of my car. So when you all come to me, come right, and we can work something out. But I think the hardest part is to have something it's a good product. Mm-hmm. But of course, everything needs a gloss. You can have a beautiful house, but it might need to be painted.
Exactly.
So, you got to make sure you have the right team. And I had some problems getting the right team in place.
Gotcha.
So, but now I do. I'm very pleased. And, they help me keep this moving. It's hard to write these books and do these things and keep moving like this. Are you guys still there?
It looks like we lost Sharon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Tony.
Okay, looks like we lost Sharon. Hopefully she'll come back with us. But you're right. But we're going to keep it moving.
Okay.
But you're right. Having the right team is important because they play an integral part in how your workflow and how everything rolls out for you. And they help you to make sure that every I is dotted, every T is crossed. So I agree with you when you say that having the right team in place, because also having the wrong team in place will also cause you to waste money.
Yes.
And then also they may not have the same spirit that you have about it or share your vision. And that can also be a bigger problem.
Yes.
So I agree that you have the right team in place that shares your vision, that also works in the same spirit that you do. So Sharon is back. There you go.
Yay, she's back.
I apologize for that. Technology.
I know, that's right, girl. I was like, hello.
Okay, so at this time we're going to peel the onion, and we're going to go to a deeper layer. Okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions. All we asking that you be open and honest. All right?
Sure, of course.
Okay, first question. If you could wake up tomorrow in the body of someone else and assume his or her life, who would you like that to be?
I'm really bad with names, but that beautiful young poet that just spoke at...
Oh, yes.
I would love to be her right now. She is awesome.
I can't think of her name, but she was amazing.
She is amazing. I feel so bad that it's something Garmin. Is it?
Hold on.
I know I'm calling her name. Amelia. Is her first name Amelia Garmin, I think? I just know I'm so impressed with her.
Her name is
Amanda Gorman.
Amanda Gorman.
Oh, Amanda Gorman. Okay, I knew it was.
You close.
So close, but yet so far. But she is just so wonderful. I think she is awesome. So I wouldn't mind being young again, but I'm not necessarily sure I want to be young in today's time.
Okay, me either. Yeah, that's true. It's hard.
It is.
Okay. Given the choice of anyone in the world, who would you want as your dinner guest?
I want Oprah as my dinner guest.
Say it. You said Oprah?
I would. I like Oprah. I think she's awesome. I think that what she does is just amazing for African American women. I think that we need to be uplifted as African American women. We've done so much. We have to make this world what it is, and we don't get treated right sometimes, and we know it, but we're going to still keep moving.
I agree. Okay, next question. If you had to flee the country tomorrow and never return, where would you go to build a new life and why?
Aruba, because I love Aruba. I would live on that beautiful Millionaires Row. I would go there because it's like Southern California. It never rains.
It never rains. Okay.
That's right. It never rains. It rains very little in Aruba. And it's always windy. So even though it's warm and beautiful, it's always a breeze. And it's just a beautiful laid back life. But you got to have a lot of money for that. Right. Because they have to import everything. They don't grow nothing. They have nothing there. Aruba means the island of nothing.
You said
I'm serious. That's what it means in their language.
Okay. That's someplace I want to go. I want to go to Aruba.
I love that place. I wish I could go right now.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
Do you work hard to earn praise and recognition or to avoid criticism?
You know what? I guess I don't really know. I think I do work hard to try to get praise and recognition, but I can take criticism. Okay. Everybody not gonna like you.
Right.
And everybody not gonna like your message. You may not have done anything wrong. That's what I want all the young people to know. Mm-hmm. You can do everything right. And it's gonna be one hater out there that don't like you.
Right.
And so, you know what? I'm one of those people. I'm okay with me. Everybody don't like me, and I probably don't like everybody. Mm-hmm. But I ain't gotta try to make their life, bad because I don't necessarily care for them.
Right. I agree. Totally agree. Okay, so next we're going to chop it up with our viewers.
Okay,
we're gonna have Boss of Reason, and she's gonna entertain questions from our viewing audience.
All righty.
Okay, we do have some questions in the queue. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. This is excellent. I'm looking for I can't wait. Let's hear it.
Okay, our first question. Well, our first statement was, it's unfortunate that parents who call the police for help later regret their decision. And that was based upon a conversation you guys were having earlier.
Uh-huh.
But our next question says, why nonfiction why not a nonfiction book? Why did you not write a nonfiction book?
I did write a nonfiction book. The workbook is nonfiction.
Okay, so the workbook is nonfiction, but why?
Yes, definitely.
So why didn't you choose to write the commemoration or the anniversary as a nonfiction since it resonates so much with you and you have so many personal attachments to it?
I think that people are when you write a fiction book and you entertain people, you get people to bring their defenses down to receive the information. Mm-hmm. Okay. I've done this for so many years and I've seen so many people, they're really defensive about the word mental health. Why? It's because it's been used as a weapon against them. It's been weaponized.
Right.
So I think that being able to take a fiction book and entertain people, where people read the book and they say, you know what, I learned so much from that book. Like it's so many things I learned I might not have never necessarily even took the time to learn had I not been entertained. And that's what I want.
Okay. And that's good, because I think that goes to, first of all, knowing your audience, and then giving them information that they need, but in a more digestible manner. So that's
yes.
All righty. So the next question is, what age group is your book for?
My age book, I say, is for adults, but I've had some other people read it and they believe that some like maybe junior and high school, seniors in high school could read it. Some people believe that it would be good in high schools. I think it's an adult book though.
Okay.
With adult themes.
Okay.
But some of these kids more adult than we are now.
Right.
Well, this is true. Okay. All right. Our next question. How are you promoting your book?
Well, I'm promoting it by doing shows like this. I am going to start, I guess, doing some Amazon ads or something. I have a virtual assistant. She's been extremely helpful to me. That is where I do have a little bit of problems. It's hard to figure out ways to, promote your book. I actually did really well with the anniversary when we were in person because I am a member of, look, I got to figure out what's that, AKA. Right. So, and I also am a member of Top Ladies of Distinction.
Okay.
And I was always invited to all kind of events where I had an opportunity to be in front of people and sell my books. But during this pandemic, it has been very difficult.
I can imagine.
I'm having a really difficult time just because I'm not in front of people like I was before.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the next question is, do you have a publicist?
No, I don't have a publicist. I just recently got a virtual assistant in the past 6 months. You're like,
okay.
This is what happens when you have a grassroots endeavor.
Let's see. Hold on.
Okay.
Are there any more questions for our author? Because that's all that I have in the queue right now.
Ms. Winston, while we're waiting on additional questions, if there's any, go ahead and share again with our audience how we can contact you and actually where we can purchase your book.
You can purchase my books from me on my website at www.novelistjjwinston.com. My books are also on Amazon. They're at Barnes & Nobles. Pretty much, if you were to Google The Anniversary or JJ Winston, you will find a whole lot of places selling my books. It even shocks me sometimes. Okay, so you can also reach me on my website. Subscribe to my newsletter. It is free. It's virtual. You can also reach me by contacting me on my email at info@novelistjjwinston.
All right. Thank you so much. Sorry, Sharon.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
At this time, we don't have any additional questions for our authors, so that ends our Q&A.
All right.
Thank you. Those were some awesome questions. Thank you, Tony, for coming in and taking care of that little section of our show. Miss Winston, it has been a pleasure speaking with you today. One thing I always ask our authors is to leave some words with our viewing audience. We may have individuals viewing our the broadcast right now who's interested in becoming writers. What piece of advice would you leave for anyone who's interested in writing and just is hesitant to take that step of faith to start the process?
At the end of the day, what you should do is know that the world, we don't know how much time we have in front of us. If it's something that you have in your spirit and your heart, do it. Don't be scared. You know what? If somebody has something criticizing or critical to say, just like you got 5 people that's going to criticize, you're going to have 5 people that's going to encourage.
Right.
It's what you choose to believe. If you have to believe in yourself, if you want everybody else to believe in you, and everybody has something worthwhile to say.
Mm-hmm.
That is my words of encouragement. Everybody got something to say. You don't know what you might say might actually help save somebody's life.
Right.
So say it.
Love it, love it. And lastly, one more thing. Author of your books, the overall theme, what is the overall message? Even your interview on the night, what is the lasting message you want to leave with our viewing audience?
We fall down, but we get up. Just because you have a mental health issue, a sickle cell issue, a human trafficking issue, a drug and alcohol issue, if you have an issue, we all do.
Exactly.
It's how you decide to handle it.
Love it. Love it. I want everybody to go out and purchase Miss Winston's book. We have the anniversary, the commemoration. We have the workbook to the anniversary. And then we have the
book bundle. No, you got all of them. It's just 3 books.
Oh, okay. We're looking forward to the 4th book, though.
That's right. It hasn't come out yet. I'm still writing it, girl.
Okay. I'm trying to push you to have it out. Go out.
But I'm telling you what the name of it's going to be. The Revelation.
The Revelation. You did mention
yes.
that. The Revelation. Go out and purchase the books. There's a bundle. If you buy the bundle for $50, you save. Look, I believe in saving money, so get all 3 books. If you can relate, if you know someone who can, this will be great for a gift, a birthday gift, a Christmas gift. Okay, so go out and let's support our sister. Get this book. We go out and read Zane and everything else. Let's read something that we can grow, that can better our lives and better our family and our community. So let's go out. And when you buy the books, please write reviews. We're asking that you write reviews.
Yes, thank you. I really need reviews. And you know what? I just need people to help me get this message across the world. I appreciate you all so much. This has been awesome.
I have really enjoyed you. Thank you for joining us on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All righty, guys. Join us same place next week, same time. Next week, we will be getting up close and personal with Arthur Day Arujo, the author of The Shabo's Wife. And I feel like I just chopped that up. Forgive me. But we look forward to talking with you next week. This is On Another Level Book Club from Dallas, Texas. Stay safe and have a great night. And remember, reading gives us someplace to go when we have to stay where we are. Stay safe and stay blessed.